Okay, we'd like to welcome Sahith Theegala to the interview room here at the 2024 Texas Children's Houston Open. Sahith, it's a home game for you now, living here in Houston. Played here a couple of times at this golf course. Just what's it like for you to be here and ready to come back and have a third go at this Houston Open title?
Yeah, very excited. It's always a nice thing when you're sleeping in your own bed for the week. And even the first year I played here, it was right before I moved to Houston, and I stayed with my buddies and ended up staying for 10 days, I think. I came early and then stayed. So it does feel like a third home game, third year in a row of doing that. So I'm really excited. Worked out. I'm really happy the schedule is how it is now with Houston being in the spring. I think it makes a lot of sense with the Florida swing right before and Valero and then Augusta right after. So it's nice. It already feels a little bit more low-key in a sense. I woke up this morning, girlfriend made me breakfast and did my usual morning coffee routine and drove up here. So just those little things feel nice this week. So, but very excited to be here, and I know a lot of my friends and family will be out, so that's exciting too.
And the last time this event was played, you finished tied 22nd, but you had a really solid finish with a good final round. Just what do you remember about that 64 in the final round?
Yeah, it was probably one of the best rounds I've played on tour, honestly. I think it was it early November that this was played, or late October? It's always cold, and it's kind of dried out Bermuda, and the lies are tough. Around the green gets really firm and sketchy. So the 64 I shot was again one of the best rounds I think I've ever played on tour, and I went bogey free, got off to a good start, and made a lot of nice 4 to 8 footers for par. I remember on some of these par fours are really long out here, maybe some of the longest on tour. So those almost feel like birdies. And obviously I chipped in on the last hole. It was a slam dunk on 9, so that's a good way to end the tournament. But I think I started the round in 60th and shot 6 under and found myself in 22nd at 4 under. So it's a tough course, and I know the scores are not going to be super low. And I love hard golf courses. I think I don't know if my track record's necessarily better on hard golf courses, but I just feel like I love hard golf courses because par is that much more important. And it's nice starting the week knowing that you don't have to shoot 22, 25 under to win the tournament. You just kind of plot your way around the golf course, just shoot a couple under per 9, and you could be right there come Sunday.
And just finally, before we take questions, started with a runner-up this season in Hawaii, and then 3 top 10s in your last 4 starts. I'd say that's pretty good, but how would you characterize your season so far? Yeah,
it's been a really great season so far. Even the West Coast swing, I had a couple of middle of the pack to back of the pack finishes, but I still feel like this is the start of my 3rd year now, and it feels like it's the best golf I've played on tour. And it's just the consistency has been really awesome to see. That's one thing I've kind of tried to work on, or not work on, but made an emphasis to my team. Like, I just want to be consistent week to week and want my body to feel the same or as close to the same week to week. And to start the way I did this year, I think we're on the right track, and just kind of waiting for all parts of the game to click at the same time, because it's been cool to see each week. I feel like there's 1 or 2 parts of the game that have really kind of shown through and are where I want them to be, especially off the tee. Off the tee, it's been really nice this year. So to just kind of keep that momentum going and hopefully get it all to click. And the last couple of weeks, I played really well with top 10s, but I wasn't really in contention, so to speak. But so hopefully just keep that kind of momentum and that consistency rolling, and hopefully it leads to me being in the hunt.
Okay, we'll take a couple of questions, and we'll go with Dale first.
You haven't played this course this week yet, right?
No, I just came out to practice yesterday, short game and putting, because I heard it was overseed and wanted to get a good feel for the grass right away yesterday before I got on the course. And it's pure. It's really healthy. I think the greens are going to be really, really nice this year. I mean, just yesterday on the putting green, you could tell they didn't really cut them, and they were still rolling 11.5s and super true. So I think they're going to – I don't know what the the sheet has what the greens are going to be rolling this week, but I could easily see them rolling almost 13s by the time it comes Thursday.
I mean, you're really playing a different course this year from the fall course.
Correct. I think a few big things. Obviously, I haven't been out there yet, but just looking at the course and the grass difference, typically when the rough is overseed, you're not going to get the ball rolling through. And I think the last couple of years with the dried out Bermuda, you could miss it in the rough and it still scampers, 20, 30 yards down the fairway. So I think flying the ball in the fairway this week is going to be way more imperative. In some ways, the course is going to play longer. But I do think with the greens and around the greens being overseeded, up and downs around the greens are going to be a little bit easier. The last few years, it was brutal around the greens. I mean, you miss the green and you could be 20 yards off the green in the fairway, and you see a lot of guys putting because it's just really tough to chip around here. So I think, well, I just haven't seen the course yet, but my first thought is that it will be playing a little bit easier. Just because of that confidence you're going to have around the greens.
I apologize for not knowing this, and I should, but what brought you to Houston, and why did you settle here?
Yeah. It's funny, a lot of people have asked me that question, and I've kind of had ties to the Woodlands, Houston area for a long time. My aunt used to live here, and my parents kind of made it a point for me to come over a week or two during the summer to play couple junior events or just spend time with my cousins, and that was probably from when I was 12, 13 through end of high school. So just got familiar with the area. There's a large Indian population, which is awesome to see as well, and a part of my comfort level for that as well. So it just felt like almost a second home already. And then just happened to be that one of my teammates who I got really close with at Pepperdine, Fred Waddell, he's the Woodlands native, so ended up working out perfect. And after graduating, I wanted a cheaper place to move out to, and a place where I can actually have access to a load of golf courses, and the Woodlands worked out great. And I would come during the COVID year, right when I turned pro, came out here, was able to meet the GM at the Woodlands Country Club, and they're awesome up there. They let a bunch of pros that are trying to make it go out there and make it their home course, and give us access to practice facilities in the golf course. So that's kind of how I started, and I was like, all right, everything's kind of lined up. It's in the middle of the country. Traveling is going to be fantastic. Probably living expenses are probably half of what it would be in California, so it was kind of a no-brainer for me, and they had an empty spot in their house, and it was $400 a month for rent, so I was like, this sounds like a dream for a kid right out of college. So worked out great, and I've really grown to love it here, and I definitely see myself spending a good amount of time here. LA is always going to be my first home, and born and brought up there, but yeah, it's been awesome to call this place another home. I'm still renting. I'm still in an apartment here in the Woodlands. Yeah, hoping to get a house next year. Yeah.
All right, we'll go Kevin.
$400 a month for rent. That was for your first
year
or so, or was it with
someone?
Or?
I lived there till last year, a year ago, right around this time. So then I got my own apartment with one of my buddies, and my girlfriend moved in recently, so a little bit of an upgrade. But yeah, it was nice having I lived with 3 other guys in a home, so kind of felt like it was still in college, and we'd go and practice and get meals together and stuff. But it was a good gig. Yeah.
And who was that with?
It was with Fred Waddell. The guy who owned the house is Matt Eschenberg. He's a Houston. He went to U of H. Actually went to Lamar and U of H, I believe. But he's pretty well known in the golf community in the Woodlands. He's a teacher up at Augusta Pines, and he's the man. He's opened his house up to a couple guys that really could use it, struggling with money, and he understands the grind of making it out on tour. So yeah, it all kind of started with him, and then so it was Fred Waddell, and then we had kind of a rotating third roommate between Mike Mattis, Roy Coots, a bunch of just like friends from junior and college golf. So it was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun because we're all chasing the same thing, chasing the same grind, and it's nice to have good buddies push each other.
Because you had that wild couple years where you were playing some KFT, some tour, Monday qualifiers.
Yeah.
That wild story with getting into the finals kind of close.
Yeah.
When you look back at that run, what comes to mind, and how do you think that helped kind of lead you into this part of your career?
Yeah, I honestly look back at that a lot, and I'm just grateful for all of those experiences, because it taught me a lot of things. It was a grind. It was a lot of travel and a lot of, sleepless nights, and a lot of the times it never worked out. Like, you Monday and you don't make it through, and then you play the next week and you feel tired and you're like, great, I have to play against some of the best players in the world, and I'm not 100%. So, but it really showed me that I do love this game from as deep as it can from inside me. So it just showed me that I really loved it, and I would have done anything to have the opportunity to make it on any tour, the Korn Ferry, whatever it would be. Like, I would have loved to play on any tour, and I think it really got me to fully just dive into the grind, and it made me want it so bad. And I definitely got a little lucky there with the points at the end, and I had a couple nice low-key clutch finishes to finish like 30th at Barbasol and Barracuda, but definitely got really lucky to sneak in that top 200 non-member points. And I look back at that, and I'm just, my attitude was, I have this opportunity to do something really cool, and check the box of a lifelong dream. And so that's kind of the statement I used to take the pressure off of me instead of putting more pressure on me, and I've kind of kept that through on my tour career so far. And it's kind of a invaluable life lesson, I'd say, that whole year of mini tour Korn Ferry finals all ended up culminating into a tour card.
I appreciate it. And kind of along a similar ethos, your good friend Clay Fagler had a nice week Monday on the America's debut opener and won. What was it like seeing him win, and what are kind of your memories of just living with Clay and Clay from college? And
yeah, Clay's the man. Funny enough, me and Mark were just talking. I spent last night at his house. He came back for a couple days. His girlfriend was caddying for him down there, so they invited me and my girlfriend to go over there watching the finale of The Bachelor. But I ended up going there just to hang out, say congrats to him, and him and his family are some of the best people I know. His mom Karen and his sister Chloe, they're awesome, and it's so nice that they're living in the Woodlands too. So it's just like a little bit of our Pepperdine community is here as well. But I think it's so awesome to see, because there's a good group of guys, of 8 or 10 guys that we have money games with. We play, practice all the time together, and it's crazy how fine the line is between being on the PGA Tour and almost having no status. And I'll tell you what, Clay, Fred, these guys that I play with all the time, they beat me just as much as I beat them, and it's always competitive. So you got to shoot 6 to 8 under, or else you're going to lose money. So it's cool to see all the hard work that Clay has put in come to fruition. The guy is just a winner. He won 4 or 5 times in college, and really went under the radar big time. He got out of college, did really well on the Forum Tour that one year that they had it, went straight to final stage Q school, got his Korn Ferry card right away. So the guy's a baller, and he has a lot of game, and it shows how tough the golf landscape is, the fact that he lost his car on Korn Ferry and had to Monday into this PGA Tour Americas event, and it's always cool to see a Monday qualifier end up winning the event. I know Monday Q Info is going to be pumped about that, but I'm just really happy for him, and golf's a hard sport, and there's not a lot of times where you can truly be happy, and it was really cool to see him, really happy yesterday. Not just about the win, but just kind of gives you confidence going forward the rest of your life almost. It's like, okay, I'm putting in all this work and all these sacrifices that I'm making, spending less time with family or friends or whatever it might be, and culminating to his first professional win is massive. And I know he doesn't take it lightly, and but it's awesome to see him get it done. And I was at Champions Sunday, and technically not allowed to have phones out there, but I was just on my phone refreshing the whole time. Went into the locker room, and there's a couple guys that Clay knew that they're rooting for him. So me and my buddy Fred and Chris Minton, we were all in the parking lot just scrolling, refreshing the leaderboard. we had a couple guys that we play with all the time, Derek Kitchener, Noah Steele, that were down there that were giving us shot-by-shot updates in the playoffs. So we were fully invested, and then all the Pepperdine guys had a group chat. But it's just awesome to see, like, all of us rallying behind Clay being the first ever winner of a PGA Tour Americas event.
So has a guy like Clay reached, since you've been on tour and had some success, has he sort of reached out to you and asked you any questions and for advice and what sort of path to take?
Yeah, I think it's really cool that I'm lucky enough to be in a position to even answer some of those questions that a lot of the guys have, and Clay too, because I get to play and practice with him a decent amount, and I see how good he is, and it's nice for me to give him affirmation that, dude, you are good enough. Like, the golf doesn't really change that much from level to level. It's just almost trying to get yourself to peak at the right time, and it's been nice knowing that I can wholeheartedly say that, dude, you are good enough to be on the PGA Tour, and not only to be on the PGA Tour, but to compete on the PGA Tour. And again, it's just a fine line, and you just have to wait for your moment. A little bit of that is probably not even up to us. It's just how the world works. You gotta wait for your break, and you gotta take that break. And but yeah, it's been cool for them to Clay. Just to be able to answer questions that he has, and just give him affirmation that, dude, you're good enough, and your time is going to come, and this is just, I think, a stepping stone for him. It's just a sign of things to come. I know he's going to take in this win and enjoy it, but I know he's flying back to Mexico this morning to go take care of business again in the next week, and it's funny, even talking to him last night, he just wants to win again. It's not like he's settling or anything like that. He just wants to win again, and I think having that attitude is so important, because ultimately the reason we all play in tournaments is to win. Top 10 or top 25 feels nice, but the ultimate goal is to win. So, but I think he knows that. I think he knows that he's good enough, and you just keep putting in the work, and your time will come, and it's kind of on you to make sure that you're ready for when that time comes.
Dale, do you have another?
This is sort of for, I know you don't spend a lot of time in Houston, obviously, but if you have to choose your favorite Indian cuisine here.
You know what? I actually haven't been to a lot of Indian restaurants. I've probably been to 2, and I don't even remember the names of them. They're both good, but I'm still on the search for, like, a really, really nice Indian restaurant. And I'm excited this next few months, because I'm going to spend plenty of time here to kind of explore. My parents are coming down Thursday night, so maybe we can do some investigating to see if we can get some really good Indian food. But I'm sure there's a lot of great Indian places.
Kieran's and Pondicherry that come quickly to mind for me.
Okay.
Also Khyber.
What's the last one?
Khyber, like Khyber Pass.
Okay, yeah.
Really outstanding. Cool guy that owns it too. And these are all right on in the center of Houston, around Kirby Drive and Richmond and Alabama. So just a little local town.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to check some spots out. I know Houston sneaky has some really great food, and any cuisine that you want. I've eaten every single cuisine out here, and I've been very happy with it all. So, yeah.
All right, Sahith, I've got to close by saying I think this might be the first time in PGA Tour history that we've had a Bachelor reference TV show during a press conference, and I know it made one media official in the back of the room pretty happy. So thanks again for your time.
Yeah, I had to I haven't watched it, but my girlfriend's watched all of it, and then Clay's sisters watched all of it. So I was just kind of thrown into this finale. I was like, dang, there's a lot going on here. But my thought was, it seemed like they're pretty happy with who he chose. I think Kelsey was her name, but apparently there's some drama about who the next Bachelorette's going to be too. It was someone that wasn't expected, but my girlfriend's Asian, so she was pumped that the next Bachelorette was also going to be Asian. So there was that, but yeah, it was fun.
One more from Kevin before we shut it down.
I did want to ask, with this course being a muni, and locals can play for $30, juniors can play for $10. What's that like as a player, knowing that this is a course where really anyone in town can come out and play and try to hit the shots you guys hit, after watching you guys playing?
Yeah. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome that I think there's a few on the Rota now that are, public golf courses, munis, and especially this one being as affordable as it is and being so close to the center of Houston. It's awesome. And it's cool because a lot of the guys that, just this week when I was practicing at Woodlands and Champions, a lot of the guys are like, hey, we just played here 3 weeks ago. Like, this course is really, really hard. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of how it is most weeks out here. But it is fun, and it's awesome that, the week after this tournament that anyone can go out and play and see how hard the golf course is set up and the conditions that we play on. And I think it's important for the fans to see exactly what a PGA Tour test is, and there's got to be something like a fan challenge, or I think it would be awesome to see a scratch handicap go out and play like the Monday after a tournament, keep it the same conditions, and see what they would shoot, just to put into perspective how hard a PGA Tour golf course is. Because the media is always funny. It's like you look up at like, oh, he's really struggling today. He's even par through 16. I'm like, I'm pretty happy with being even par through 16 right now. So it's just the level of precedent that the top guys in the world, like Scotty, Victor, these guys, they just make golf look too easy sometimes. So, but I think it's great. Golf needs to be as accessible as possible. I think we're heading in the right direction towards that. So it's important, and obviously growing up on public golf courses, it's always fun to be at one for a tour event.
Would you come out and watch an event like that the next day after a tournament?
Yeah, I would. Shoot, I'd commentate on it. So they know exactly, like, it's so funny because you watch on TV, and I have a pet peeve. Sometimes when I watch golf on TV, a great example is hole 8 at Valspar last week. Like, it's a 230-yard par 3. The green's 12 yards wide, and someone will hit the middle of the green, and they'll be like, oh, really smart shot there. I'm like, well, no, he's absolutely laced his 4-iron in the middle of the green. That's right where he's looking, and to hit a 4-iron that straight is really, really hard. So I think commentators are getting a lot better about giving pros credit for some of their shots. But yeah, it's even like chipping. A lot of the stuff just looks flat on TV, but then when you get over the chip, it's like, oh great, I have to land it over a mound on a downslope, down grain. But yeah, it would be interesting to see some kind of format like that. I know YouTube golf is taking off, and there's a lot of really, really good players on YouTube making great content, and I'm sure there's some ideas like that. I know there was I don't even know if I'm allowed to talk about this, but the Myrtle Beach Q thing with a bunch of, I don't even like calling them influencers because they're doing such a great job on YouTube growing the game and stuff. But yeah, more stuff like that I think can only help the game because it brings more fans into the game and brings a slightly different crowd into the game. So I'm all for it.
All right. We appreciate your comments and sharing some insight. Have a great week.
Sure. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, guys.